All right, so let's recall some of the sampling methods that we've learned so far. Simple random sampling is when you use a random number generator. So that's one way. So you could put like a whole list and it just generates a whole bunch of numbers randomly, and that's simple random sampling. Or we also call it the pick out of a hat method, where you could put names in a hat or put numbers in a hat, and you're just picking at random some certain amount of numbers. Systematic sampling is an organized system. It's also what we call the pattern method. Okay, so if there's some sort of pattern to it, so for example, choosing every third person standing in line, or choosing every seventh customer in a store. Okay, so system, think about a system as a pattern or a system that is organized. Convenience sampling, so think of convenience as easy to reach or access. For example, the first 50 people that walk into the mall. There is no like way easier to do it, but like just randomly just selecting the first couple of people that walk into the mall. Or I know we had used in the past, if you're stranded at an airport, just choosing 50 people in that airport, it would be convenient. Voluntary response sampling is self-selected, and it's also self-selected volunteers, excuse me. Okay, so you're volunteering, you're not having anybody do it. You're having a willing participant. So usually you're asking somebody to fill out a survey, and they can choose to send the survey back or not. You don't have to, it's completely voluntary. You can have 10 people raise their hand, and you just choose the people who want to participate. So some additional sampling methods that we are going to learn about are stratified sampling, which is this first one here, and then cluster sampling. So these are two sampling methods we're going to add on to the ones that we've already learned. So stratified sampling is when you split people or things into groups, and then you randomly choose from each group. So really the key word here is the word each. So I'm going to split up maybe by zip code, by where somebody lives, and then I'm going to choose maybe 5 people out of each neighborhood or each group. Okay, cluster sampling is you have pre-existing groups, so their groups are already made up, but then you're selecting all members of the group. Okay, so the key word here is all. So besides the 1, 2, 3, 4 on top that we've already learned, we have 2 more on the bottom, which makes 6 complete sampling methods. So now we're going to look at the guided practice, which is just going to go over each type and give an example of each. So for guided practice, it says in the scenarios that follow, determine the method of sampling used, and they give you all of the different types we just went over: simple random, systematic, stratified, cluster, convenience, or voluntary response. So for number 1, it says Amazon randomly emails a customer satisfaction survey for certain transactions done on its site. Customers choose to complete the survey and email it back if they want. Okay, customers choose to complete it. They don't have to complete it, so this one would be voluntary response. Okay, so if you're asked to complete a survey, if you choose to hand it in or not, that would be voluntary. Okay, if we want to flip over here. Number 2, a community college student interviews the first 100 students to enter a building to determine the percentage of students that own a car. Okay, this would be convenience method of sampling, because it's just the first 100 students to enter the building. All right, there is no way about it. It's just very simple and easy to access those people. So that would be convenience. Okay, the third one says oranges from an orchard need to be sampled to see if they are sweet enough for juice. The orchard has 25,000 orange trees in total. Claire decides to randomly choose 800 trees and then test 1 orange from each tree. Okay, so she's grouping the oranges. So there's 25,000 in total. She's choosing to group it and then choose 1 from each tree. Okay, so we just learned this one. This was a new one. This would be stratified when you're choosing from each group. Okay, number 4, for a specific survey, households were divided into groups according to zip codes. Lucy is going to survey all the households that share the same zip code in one group. Okay, again, the key word here is the word all. Since they already have pre-existing groups by zip code, and she's choosing all from the group, that would be what we call cluster sampling, which is our new one we just learned today. Number 5, a large corporation, wants to find out which medical plan its employees would prefer. Each employee was given a number, and the corporation used a number generator to randomly select employees to survey. Okay, so the key here is a number generator. So it is completely random. They're probably using some sort of computer system. You could use a calculator. So this would be simple random sampling. Okay. And the last one is the newspaper club needs to choose poems to enter into the April newsletter. Out of a list of 200 poems, the club decides to pick a starting point at random and then choose every 4th poem to be entered. Okay, this is my system that they're setting up. So this would be systematic sampling. Okay, it's very organized. Every 4th poem, every 5th person. Okay, that's the hint for that one. Okay, so we just went over each type and giving an example of each one. Let's just take a quick look at your independent practice page, just so I can read it to you and kind of help you, maybe give you some hints on it. So the independent practice is talking about a doctor who's studying the sleep schedules of 3,000 patients at her office. She decided to start asking a random sample of 30 patients how many hours of sleep they get during the week. Okay, here are the directions. This is what I'm asking you to do for each one. Identify the type of sample method. Okay, there are 6 types of sampling methods. Okay, you have to choose one of those used in each of the following survey methods. So let's just say the doctor tries to choose one of these different ways that he or she can do it. I think in this case, let's see, it does say she. So the doctor may look at one of these 3 methods. You are supposed to tell me which type of sample method is used. I'll read each one. Letter A, the doctor assigns each patient a number from 1 to 3,000. She selects the sample by randomly choosing the first number and then choosing every 100th number after that. Okay, think of the keywords that we had looked at in the guided practice and tell me which sampling method would be used for part A. Okay, part B, the doctor assigns each patient a number from 1 to 3,000 and then uses a computer to randomly generate a list of 30 numbers to select the patients for the sample. And then you're going to tell me which sample method is used in part B. And then in part C, patients are grouped by the neighborhood they live in. The doctor randomly selects 6 neighborhoods and then selects 5 patients from each neighborhood. Okay, so think about what sampling method. This one's one of the new ones. I'll give you that hint. So A, B, and C, you should have a different sampling method for each. Okay, good luck.